One, two, 1, 2, 3. Good morning and welcome to the Selection Saturday Kickoff Show right here on both Facebook and YouTube. College game day has arrived. And again, it's already arrived. It's already arrived for the grand total of 2 days this week. We're on day 3 of 5. And this is the big one here because we got a lot of lanyards to wrap around my neck today, including the Sunday games tomorrow and the Monday game. And before I dive into the proceedings here, there was one pick that I forgot to make yesterday during the non-lanyard selections, and that involves South Florida and Western Kentucky. I'd forgotten to write that down on the card. Gotta go with Western Kentucky. I don't know if South Florida's gonna have another winning season in the foreseeable future, but I do know Western Kentucky's had quite a string of them and a couple of bowl appearances for proof. And plus they're playing at home. So, without further ado, let's dive into this, shall we? We're going to start things off with the Labor Day night game, Clemson and Duke. And Duke is supposed to be the, I suppose, I wouldn't call them like the next big thing. They're far from that, but they definitely are bowl worthy for sure with everything that I've talked about, but not in this instance. Gotta go with Dabo, gotta go with Clemson. Sure, it's a good conference opener, and it will be, but at the end of the day, Clemson's got far too more experience, I think, to for Duke to even overcome it. So there you go, Clemson over Duke. There's football on Sunday. And it's not the National Football League. We got 3 games on the slate, beginning with Rutgers hosting Northwestern. Had it not been for those hazing allegations, I would have taken Northwestern. But instead, I got to channel my inner Cosnester Smith, Rutgers University. High noon kickoff in Piscataway for Rutgers and Northwestern. I am going with Rutgers. Especially considering that they win this year's Fall Camp Award for most hysterical football team. And it's got a lot to do with asking each player about rating their roommates in, well, I think we talked about that one already. Oregon State. Oregon State and San Jose State. Oregon State's waking up today and wondering, what the hell? Where's my conference at? Quit your whining. You're always going to be second class to Oregon. Always was, always will be. I'm taking San Jose State to upset your sorry asses. And besides, you got, what the heck's his name? Ukulele at quarterback? I saw what he did at Clemson. It's not going to fare much better. Believe me, it's not going to fare much better. He was overhyped from the very start. Having that been said, your boys are going down, Corvallis. Sorry. And Sunday night, oh, do we have a dandy? So much so they had to do 2 dandies. Last year was incredible. Florida State beating LSU on a blocked extra point. What can we expect when the 2 teams meet again in Orlando? Well, for one, I expect for it to be a good game. Number 2, I'm taking the Seminoles. And it's nothing against LSU. It's everything against the coach. Peon. Anyway, that takes care of those picks. Now we get down to the Saturday selections. And in doing so, we are going to, first of all, turn off that mobile device. We're going to do the Saturday night ones first, beginning with Coastal Carolina and UCLA. How cool is it for Coastal Carolina to be playing at the Rose Bowl? Only to find that the house, or the bowl as it is only going to be filled to about a 10th capacity. It's sad. It's sad that for as big a school as UCLA is, you can't possibly tell me that you can't fill up even a third of the Rose Bowl, and you got Troy Aikman crying foul over how UCLA should have its own stadium of about 30,000. 30,000. Because that's about all you're holding these days. And that Rose Bowl hosts about 90, 95, 98,000. Back in the old days, it used to hold over 6 figures. Where did you go wrong, UCLA? Actually, skip that question. The problem may have been solved with you jumping to the Big Ten. That might only increase it to 60,000. Still a respectable number. But if you get a school like Michigan or Ohio State, I will guarantee you that Rose Bowl would be filled to capacity. But despite all of this, we have to make a pick. So UCLA, do your due diligence, okay? Get your shite together. Chip, I have faith in you. Round up the interest. It is sorely needed, because you're going to need that interest going forward next year when you butt heads with the Big Ten and all the big boys. The Michigans, the Ohio States, the Iowas, the Wisconsins, the Penn States, and the like. UCLA over Coastal Carolina. Brigham Young is hosting Sam Houston. Sam Houston's first game in the FBS. It's not going to be a pleasant one. So never thought I'd see the day I'd be putting this around my neck for the second time this week, having already worn it at my workplace, W&J College. So here we go again. BYU, YUB, in the words of Dan Smith, the greatest punter who ever lived. And he's a fictitious character from the East-West Bowl sketches on Key and Peele. Moving right along, Old Dominion in Virginia Tech. I had to think about this for a moment. You know, there have been times where Virginia Tech was always ripe for the picking for an upset. And I do believe Old Dominion pulled one off in Blacksburg not very long ago. I don't remember the year, but I know it happened. But not this year. It took us 3 lanyards, 2 nylons didn't cut it, so we finally got one in the polyester form, and I am happy with it. Finally. Virginia Tech over Old Dominion, which now leads us to Texas Tech and Wyoming, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Somebody must have been drunk and thought, gee, let's have Texas Tech and Wyoming. And if the game's not great, we'll talk about their famous quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. And this is why I worry more about the game than the Sideshow Special Interest Bowl. I have to pick a team, but if I have to base it on stadiums, Wyoming would be the winner there. However, Texas Tech is getting a lot of interesting pub, especially considering that they were coming off of a bowl win against Ole Miss. Not too shabby. So yeah, we're going to take Texas Tech to beat Wyoming. But it's good to see you on television tonight, that's for sure. Moving right along. Illinois hosting Toledo. You know, it's funny, I had worn an Illinois lanyard earlier this week. And then my newest arrival came. So I'm taking Illinois. Oh, this is going to be fun, especially with as many more lanyards as we have to go here. This is going to be a tough game. Illinois has to find out if they got a replacement in the backfield for Chase Brown, who moved on to the NFL. And can Illinois prove that they are not a one-year wonder? I think they can do good. I don't know if they can do better than what last year indicates or indicated, but they'll be in the conversation for a little while. And heck, if they get 6 wins, hey, they'll be on the helmet tree. Moving right along. Oh yeah, and Toledo, by the way, very good first game for Illinois, because after this they go to Kansas. So it's imperative that Illinois gets at least 1 win in the first 2. Meanwhile, Texas A&M hosting New Mexico. A&M, nothing more. Because the way this show is going, if I start talking about Jimbo Fisher, I might have to stop tape. Here is perhaps, I don't know if I'd call it an upset special, but you got UTSA, Texas San Antonio, visiting Houston. Nothing would satisfy me more than to watch Dana Holgerson lose. So guess what? Frankie and the boys are going to get it done tonight in your house. That's quarterback Frank Harris in UTSA over Houston. Now, I had to think about this one, this next one. It's Boise State in Washington. It's the Chris Peterson Bowl. Wouldn't surprise me if he tossed the coin for the game. He coached at both places. Had great success at both. It's a different era now. And considering that I'm wearing Oregon colors today, which is going to be somewhat of a benefit for any selection broadcast that I do, is that I will be wearing what I wouldn't wear at a W&J game. So now I got to put this Washington lanyard around my neck, only because of Michael Penix and the capability of what Washington could do to a team like Boise State. But if you're going to beat Boise State, you had better win the rest of your games to prove that you are more than legitimate. I don't see that happening. Which now brings us to Buffalo and Wisconsin. This is going to be a fun day for Badger fans, getting to watch their new offense, the Dairy Raid offense. The Dairy Raid offense, quarterbacked by Tanner Mordecai, the transfer from SMU. I've seen some of the footage, and I like what I'm seeing. I do. There's a very good reason why they're in the conversation amongst the upper echelon of the Big Ten. And it helps when you got a guy who's been CFP tested, head coach Lou Fickell. So as much as I like to have an upset, I'm not going to see one here. I'm taking Wisconsin over Buffalo. We now have to back up things and make sure that we get the rest of the lanyards and make sure that we do this right. We're going to start things with Rice in Texas. Oh, Rice, I want you to win. I do. But I'm sorry. Hook 'em horns. All right, all right, all right. Hey, UMass. Remember me? The man whose undefeated party you spoiled last week? That's right, UMass. You're playing Auburn today. And you're going to get throttled. Sorry. Notre Dame, Tennessee State. Notre Dame's playing host to Tennessee State. The first time they played an FCS school in school history, if you can believe that. And that's where it all ends, because I don't have a Tennessee State lanyard, even though I do have a helmet to call their own. Notre Dame, continue doing what you do. And believe me, when we get to the important games, we'll discuss how far you've come and just how much more further you have to go in order to be part of the CFP party. Towson College in Maryland, or Towson University in Maryland. Well, Towson's another one of those FCS schools, but Maryland, if you're wearing the black helmets today, that would please me greatly. It's a nice improvement. But if you wear the reds, that's okay too. Just get rid of them damn flagged. Really, a lot of flags should have been thrown, and illegal use of equipment would have been the call. Nevertheless, going with Maryland over Towson, and we now shift gears to Ohio State and Indiana. I liken this game in this matchup to something that Kirk Herbstreit once said when College Game Day was in Eugene, Oregon, and he was talking about Syracuse and Clemson. How Dino Babers and his scheme would always keep his team around in games until late against Clemson. So, not that that has anything to do with this game. I do know this much. Ohio State and Indiana, Indiana always plays them tough. They always do. And it makes a lot of hearts skip a few beats if you're a Buckeyes fan. But you know something? As long as you get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr.'s hands, you're going to be fine, I think. Plus, you got Travion Henderson running the ball. The question mark, of course, is a quarterback. And it's very difficult to replace a guy like C.J. Stroud, but they got all season, and this is a good test to see where the Buckeyes are. So I got way too much confidence in Ohio State to think that they could blow this. But they won't. They will not. It will be their day in Bloomington. That much I do know. So Ohio State over Indiana. Tennessee, how we doing? One of these days I'm going to have to sing Rocky Talk. I don't know the words yet, but I'm want to someday learn your famed fight song. You're hosting Virginia today. You don't have Hendon Hooker anymore. You don't have Jalen Hyatt anymore. But you got Joe Milton now running your offense. And you got over 100,000 backers that'll be behind you every step of the way. Gotta go with Tennessee. And they should have no problem with Virginia. Colorado and TCU. Oh my God. My man BR is going to pick Coach Prime. No, I'm not. No, I am not, Mr. Sanders. Because the hype machine has a few chinks in the armor. And besides, you're going up against a team in TCU fresh removed from playing in the national championship game, and it's in their house. You will win some games, Dion. But I don't see you high-stepping anymore. It's a bad pun, I know. The wins will come, but it won't happen today. I promise you. I'm going with TCU over Colorado. Enjoy the hype, ladies and gentlemen. Because I won't. Speaking of overhyped, Oklahoma and Arkansas. Get this out of, or Arkansas State, I should say. Get that one out of the way. Oklahoma. That's it. I got nothing for you. Iowa hosting Utah State. I am going to be watching that one. I think out of all the games that are on television today, Iowa will be likely the main one that I will watch in the 12 o'clock window. It's going to be interesting to see how Iowa... Oh yeah, there's that ball cap back there. Forgot about that. Iowa... It's going to be interesting to see how their offense looks with Cade McNamara at quarterback. Defense is going to be fine. I think they're going to be in that conversation for a little while at least in regards to where they'll end up. 9 wins, 10 wins, maybe. I mean, I could see a situation where they could steal a couple of wins in conference play. I just don't know where they're going to come from. But for now, and oh yeah, by the way, this was the lanyard that I wanted to wear to start the season off, because this was the first such lanyard I have with the life is good and love what you do what you love. Heck yeah. I'm all in for that. And a shout out to my main man, Brian. Mr. Caldenberg, you ready to root your Hawkeyes on today? Yes. Purdue hosting Fresno State. Purdue has Hudson Card quarterbacking Purdue. It's going to be days like this. I will long for the days of Aiden McConnell, Charlie Jones, and company. Plus, they got a new coach now. Jeff Brom left for Louisville, and I couldn't remember who the coach of Louisville was, but now it all makes sense. Jeff Brom returns to his alma mater. Beat Georgia Tech last night. But I'm still taking Purdue. Still taking Purdue. Finally, the first game out. Northern Illinois and Boston College. Boston College. Show me you can win this year. Show me that you can be in the conversation. Show me who you are. And on the contrary, Northern Illinois, had I picked for them, they probably lose anyway. They're a MAC team after all. Oh, yes. I forgot. Considering that ESPN is hyping up North Carolina, South Carolina in the Duke's Mayo Classic. Must be a Cox Mayo thing. I don't know what it is, but did we pick that one? Yeah, we did. I think we did. I'm looking to see if we had South Carolina picked. I don't know if did I pick them? Are they here? I'm gonna have to put my own head on a noose if I don't find them. The price it pays getting old, folks. There will be a short delay. I keep finding A&M, and that's not good. Virginia Tech, I found them. Oh, here it is. I didn't pick the game yet. It was probably good that I, had this in hand. I guess it just slipped out from under somehow. I don't know what happened, but I didn't pick Carolina. But which Carolina am I picking? South Carolina. Okay, you can have your mayo now, bastards. But there is one more pick to be made. It's West Virginia, and it's Penn State. A long time ago, they were independent powers. And for the longest time, Penn State had always West Virginia's number. That wasn't until the mid to late 80s when a quarterback named Major Harris single-handedly took his team on his back and played a game for the ages where West Virginia hung 51 points on Penn State. And it was a game that, as a Mountaineer fan, you savored that ass whooping. But that was then. This is now. West Virginia is traveling to Happy Valley to take on Penn State. And I almost want to think of this as a reverse psychological pick. A reverse psychological pick. Because I don't think West Virginia's got a chance against Penn State tonight. I really don't. The way I figure it, it's like this. If West Virginia loses tonight, Neil Brown will get the quote-unquote vote of confidence. Okay, you now have seen it. I am taking Penn State tonight. So, my apologies. But, let me reiterate this one thing. If West Virginia loses to Penn State, Neil Brown will get that vote of confidence. If they lose to Pitt, I believe he will be fired. But I'm going to throw a wrench in the works right here, right now. If West Virginia wins tonight, and or the Pitt game, I will gladly sing "Take Me Home, Country Roads." You heard it right here. You heard it right here. And for that, we have come to the end of our half-hour broadcast of the Selection Saturday Kickoff Show. Enjoy the games, everybody!